Hi knitters, it's September 13th, 2015. This is episode 18 of the Susan B. Anderson podcast. I haven't recorded for a bit, so I thought it was time to check in and say hello and see how everybody's doing. I hope you all have had a wonderful end to your summer and a good start to the fall season. I always go on the school year calendar, so this to me is like the start of the new year. It's just kind of how I always have lived my life. My dad was a professor growing up, so we always lived by that school year calendar when I grew up, and then I became a teacher, and so I still continue to live by that calendar. And then and then when you have kids, that's kind of the calendar they go by too. Today I have a lot to share. I have some events that I want to talk about that are coming up, and then if you're wondering, we're recording from my little tiny studio. It's just like a little office in my house, and it's nothing fancy. It's really just a little room that I have lots of shelving and kind of all my things at hand, and I have a big comfy chair I sit in and a little desk that I'm recording from right now. So I thought it would be fun today to record from a different spot in my home. I have a little cubby thing back here that I keep a lot of my favorite yarns in and kind of things coming up that I'm working on that I want to, get going on next kind of things. And I have shelving with tons of yarn right back here that you can't see, and then I have lots of my favorite books and resources here, and up here is crammed with needles. I mean, it's horrendous. I need to clean that out. So don't look too close, but I am wearing today the Soya sweater that I finished this summer. This was one of the ones that I finished. It has a lace body and sleeves, and then this beautiful colorwork yoke. It's by Anna Maltz, and I used Nature Spun heathered gray worsted, and then I used a Quince & Co. Lark in 4 or 5 colors. 1, 2, 3, 4 colors. And I think it turned out great. And it's getting a little bit cooler out here. We kind of, every year, right when school starts, all of a sudden there is a blast of horrid, hot, humid weather where it's sweltering and in the 90s, but like 100-degree, with the humidity included, feels like 100 degrees and humid. So it happens every time when school goes back. And then kind of in June, right when the pool opens and the kids are out, there's always kind of this blast of really cold weather. I don't know why. It's kind of almost like a little Wisconsin punishment or something. Who knows? So I'm going to get right into it. I have a few events that I wanted to mention that I just said. And then I have lots of fun knitting to share with you. I have a note right here with all my things coming up. So I'm leaving this Sunday for the Knitting Pipeline Maine retreat, which I'm really excited about. I was able to teach there last year, and I was so excited. And Paula Emmons-Feasley, the Knitting Pipeline podcast and retreat planner extraordinaire. I was talking with her, and I said, I'd like to come back to the retreat, but please, I said, don't feel obligated to have me teach. I would start saving my pennies and try to just come back as an attendee. So, but she said, oh no, we'd love to have you back as a teacher again. So this year I'm teaching again. I'm teaching my Quince & Co. Doll class. It's a seamless top-down dolls. And that will be really fun. Paula has ordered kits from Quince & Co. for a lot of people. I don't even know how many, maybe 30 kits or something. And then some people are going to bring their own yarn to make the dolls too, and I think that's wonderful. And I know a lot of the attendees have already taken that doll class with me because I'm so lucky I get to see familiar faces everywhere I go and teach, and I know that many of them I've already seen in that class. So anyway, I'm so looking forward to it. It's probably my favorite project I've ever done, and it is a fun class because it's a great small project packed full with lots of techniques. So that will be fun. That is Sunday, I think it's September 21st through the 24th. And then also coming up, I'm teaching at the Knit Circus Retreat, which is right here in Madison, Wisconsin. If you go to knitcircus.com, you can find out all about the retreat. Amy Dachin is teaching. Jala Spyro, the owner of Knit Circus, is teaching some dyeing classes, and she's a wonderful dyer. And then I'm teaching my shawl shapes class, which has sold out, and then my opal sock yarn bunny class, which still has some openings. So I hope that one will get a few more people in it, and that we can sit and knit fantastic sock yarn bunnies together. That would be really fun. So anyway, go to knitcircus.com if you're in the Madison area on October 10th. And also that weekend coming up, I'm really excited, is the next day. So that's a Saturday and Sunday. My buddy Kristen Nicholas is coming to town to speak at the Madison Knitters Guild on October 12th, and she's also teaching some classes October 12th, and I don't know if those are full yet or not, and I have to look into that because I wouldn't mind attending those classes. And so I'm excited I get to see Kristen, hoping to maybe grab a coffee or get together with her while she's in town here. That's a huge treat. I got to see her last fall when I went and taught at Webb's last year, so maybe we can make it an annual yearly get-together. That would be really nice. And then I'm going to Rhinebeck just for fun with some friends. So I'm excited about that. I don't think there is any work involved in that trip. So that's going to be really fun, and I'm excited about it. So if you see me there, make sure you say hello. I would love to say hi, and maybe I'll be, if it's cool enough, maybe I'll be wearing my solia. I don't know. I've never been there, so I'm pretty excited about that. Now, on the sweater front, my last podcast, I talked about the Antwerp cardigan pullover. It has a funnel neck. It's by Shannon Cook. I'm knitting it out of Quince & Co. Osprey in the pea coat colorway. Some people thought I was saying Pico colorway. It's pea coat with the T at the end. And I have gotten down past the arms. I've got the arms on scrap yarn. I have it right here in front of me so I can show you all. This beautiful color is very dark, so you can't see it so much on camera, but because it's a deep dark navy blue, it's really beautiful. Oh, maybe up here by the light. I see a little fuzz on there. It has this chevron pattern that you can kind of see. It has this beautiful chevron pattern written in, and then I'm going to put some buttons, 3 buttonholes up there. They were 1 row buttonholes, which are fun, and I don't do very often, so that was kind of fun. But here it is, all scrunched up on my small 32-inch needle, so you can't see it too much in its full glory, but this kind of scoots down a little bit on your neck, and then it will come up. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, so that should be good. It's a fun knit, nice pattern. It's one of those patterns that's written in a chart form, and then you have to plug in all your numbers, which I kind of complained about last time. Oh, it's still not my favorite, but it's, you know, it's not so bad. It's not any reason not to do the pattern. In fact, I think a lot of people really like that style of a pattern. I've gotten back on a sock kick again, and I can't remember why exactly, but it started with a pair of hand-spun socks that I had finished one sock, and then I decided, oh, just to get them over with, and I had been kind of sitting by my chair for a long time in a bowl, and so let me put them back on sock blockers here for you. It's funny, I've been having some questions about sock blockers lately, so maybe I'll talk about that for a minute too when I finish showing you my handspun socks. Now these are spun out of Into the World. I did a traditional 3-ply, and this one I got kind of a funny like line right there, but that's because I did the heel flap. This one really kind of blended more nicely. They are mismatched socks. They don't match at all, but you can tell they go together, which is usually my main objective. I don't really care if they match. But it's a traditional 3-ply. I cast on 60 stitches because the yarn, when you do a hand spun 3-ply for me, a lot of times it's a little bit thicker and it has some thick and thin moments throughout. So I used 2.5 needle and I cast on 60 stitches. I used my free pattern, it's kind of a recipe, more like how I make my socks, which is free on my blog. You Google it, how I make my socks, Susan B. Anderson, pops up on Ravelry as well. People seem to like it. I kind of wrote it out, like exactly what I do, step by step, wrote it out because I get a lot of questions about that. So I thought I'm just going to write it all out and then refer people to that. But these are nice. They're really snuggly and sweet and soft. So I finished those, which, I was really excited about. Kind of got me on a little handspun kick. And then the next pair of handspun socks I pulled out, and I've posted all of these on Instagram, so if you've seen them there too, I apologize, but I haven't showed them on here. This is a pair of Friends in Fiber. The colorway is called Mulled Cider. It's a really beautiful shades of kind of reddish browns, and then it kind of gets kind of gray in spots, and I put some Opal Solid Series in a bright red for the heel and toe of this one. This is, I can't remember if this was a 2-ply. I want to say it was a 2-ply, but I'm not sure. Not sure about it. I think I did cast on 60 again on a 2.5 needle, and these went really, really fast. Just kind of flew off my needle. Same pattern again. And then I got another Friends in Fiber, kind of a rainbow gradient. Actually, it's called rainbow gradient. And this one I did a traditional, or not a traditional, a Navajo ply, chain ply, which made for a bit of a thicker, so I treated thicker yarn, so I treated this more like a sport weight yarn. So I cast on 56 stitches on a size 2 needle. Oh, did this go quickly. I mean, so it just flew off my needles. And what I did is I caked the yarn and I pulled from both ends. Well, I think I'm going to be battling my camera, so these will be kind of spliced together, but I'll pick up right where I left off. So on this, you'll cake the skein, and then you would just pull from both ends. So from the inside I would do 4 rounds, and then from the outside I would do 4 rounds, and I just alternated that all the way down throughout the sock, but I just kept with one color for the toe and the heel. And then every time when I would switch the strand, either from the outside or inside, to prevent it from getting twisted, I would just simply turn the cake upside down so that it would untwist the strands, because you do just carry those down all the way here. And then while I'm talking about it, I've had a couple people ask me if when I post a photo, a lot of times I will put it on the sock. I'll put the sock on the sock blocker even though it's not finished, so I'll have the needles in the sock, and I have one coming up where I'm going to show you that. But I don't knit. I've been asked lately a couple times if I knit the sock on the sock blocker? And the answer is no, you don't knit the sock on the sock blocker. That would be awful. You wouldn't want to do that. So it's just, I really just use my sock blockers for photography purposes. I don't really block my socks all that much, except to just, if they're wet, I'll just kind of lay them out and stretch them into shape and, you know, let them dry like that. But I don't do much as far as blocking my socks too much. But they're nice to have for photography if you just kind of want to see how they're progressing. Like, for example, this sock, I had just started... trying to get it situated on there. I had just started and I posted a photo of the sock like this, and then I got a few questions about the sock blockers. So these are from the loopyu.com. I love them. I think they have the best shape of any sock blocker that I have. I have several different sets of sock blockers. These are also from the Loopyu. They're plastic. These would be good if you had wet socks and you wanted to block them on there. I would not block wet socks on these wooden sock blockers. Personally, I'm sure maybe it's fine. I would be afraid they'd get warped. The wood would warp, and then that would kind of ruin them. But these are okay too. But the wood ones are actually my favorite just for photography's sake. I think they do have the best shape, as I was saying. So so I finished those. So that was 3 pair of Handspun socks that I finished. I started a 4th pair with this Gourmet Stash Fibery Tribbles, 2 ounces. Well, my daughter called now, so I had to talk to my daughter, who's in college, so I didn't want to miss that phone call. I was saying, these socks are by the Gourmet Stash Fibery Tribbles. I also want to say Tribbles. I don't know why. Tribbles. Limited edition Muse Uprising / Madness. gourmetstash.com. These were like little balls of roving, you know, wound up balls of roving, and it is a merino cashmere nylon blend. I got 320 yards of a 2-ply. I plied the Gourmet Stash single with a 2 ounces of a natural merino that I had on hand, and so it's a 2-ply. 320 yards of a 2-ply. Here is the sock. While I was on the, you may notice, I finished the gusset while my daughter was talking my ear off. So I finished the gusset really quick. Now I'm down to just to knits even to the toe. I just love it. I'm going to show you the ball of this too, but I don't know if you can see, but it really, it's black and gray. And then the Gourmet Stash had these shots of color. There is some purple and this blue. This blue really stood out here. There's even kind of, oh, I don't know if you can see it. This is kind of like a purpley red color. There is some green speckled in there. Maybe you can see a little bit on here. Let me see. Yeah, see here, you can see some of the color in there. There's even some yellow in spots. I showed this a long time ago in a podcast when it was in a skein. So I hand wound this beautiful squishy ball of yarn. I'm doing a 7-inch cuff. I thought black would be a really great complementary color for the cuff heel, and then I'll do a black toe. I think I'm going to have a lot of yardage left over at the end, which will be fun. I'll do something fun with that. I'm cast on 60 stitches. I'm using a US 1 or 2.5 millimeter set of DPNs, which is how I like to do my socks. So that's really fun. So that'll be my 4th pair of Handspun socks in a very short period of time, which is always kind of exciting and fun. So like I had said, I've been just knitting tons and tons of socks. What did I do with my other sock blocker? I can't find my other. Oh, there it is. Okay, I got it. All right, so let let me put these on. I finished some Regia and Carlos Regia socks, which I'm excited about. That Operation Sock Drawer hashtag that was started by the Knitmore girls. It's still going on, so I always tag my socks Operation Sock Drawer just for fun. I'm not trying to win any prizes or anything. I just do it for fun. And then now my daughter is texting me. That's the trouble with recording on your phone. You get a lot of distractions. I'll text her back later. That's sometimes your kids don't realize how much how much they enjoy you until they're gone. They take you for granted, and then they leave and they want to talk to you all the time. So which I love, of course. So anyway, I finished this pair of the purple Regia and Carlos. I started this kind of very casual knit along. It's hashtag AC for Regia and Carlos, AC Regia KAL, and I think there are between 300 and 400 posts in there. You can look and see. A lot of people have done like contrast toes, heels and toes, and cuffs, and I really like that. I talked about these socks last time on the podcast, but I just finished them recently, so I wanted to share those with you. And then I have one. Oops, sorry, I have one more sock that I finished. And that's the other. This one I think is now my favorite one. I just absolutely love it. It's the orange. I don't know they have names, but I don't know what they are. The orange Regia and Carlos. I use the Opal Solid Series and the Natural for the cuff, heel and toe treatment, which I really like. I love this one. I think this is my favorite one so far. I love kind of the buttery gold and the orange. It's in the blues. It's just a very sweet color combination for some reason. If you can get a good shot of that. It's just very sweet. Now these Regia and Carlos colorways have done so incredibly well for Regia that they are coming out with another set of 6 colors. I don't know if I'll partake in that or not. I saw them, and I saw the new colors, and they look beautiful, of course. I mean, they're always going to be really good, but I don't know if I need more of them, because I got 5 or 6 of the colorways, and I gave one of them away. It had like blues and greens in it. I really like that one too. So I've already got 2 pair done. The orange one, I need to start the second sock. That'll be my 3rd pair, and then I have another colorway. So I'll have 4 pair of Regia and Carlos socks by the time I'm done, which I think that's plenty. I don't think I need any more of those. I also started this. This is the Eggy Johnson. I got it last year in Maine by Barbara. She doesn't, I don't believe she has an Etsy shop. Her Instagram name is RavBLB, and that's Barbara. And anyways, it's just beautiful shades of blue. Oh, so gorgeous. I talked about my Stanwood winder that I got recently. And it winds like this. I don't do anything special to it now. It's been in my bag and it's getting kind of messed up a little bit, but it just kind of gives that beehive type look, geometric diamond look. And I'm doing a blueberry waffle sock with that. I'll put it on here just so you can see the pattern. Let's see if I can get it to show on here. This is just the cuff, but it's a free pattern, blueberry waffle. It's just kind of like a broken rib is basically what it is. So I'm not using the blueberry waffle pattern. I'm just kind of, I'm using kind of the stitch pattern. I'm doing my regular old how I make my socks pattern. So it's a broken rib, so you can look that up if you want to see how to do that. I'm doing this 64 stitches, is a very lightweight fingering, very thin. I'm using 2.25 signature needles, and I cast on 64 stitches. So that really is my regular old sock pattern. Oh, I had a fun little blue DPN holder. This is by Kathleen Kibblehouse, and she has an Etsy shop. She sent me some of her DPN holders, so I just stick it in there to hold when I put them in my bag, and that works out really well. Okay, so I think I've exhausted my socks. I talked about my sweaters and the sweater on the needles. Talked about the retreats. I have finished some books, and I just mean like novel type books. So actually all of these I finished on Audible audiobooks, and the first one is, I think if you watched a lot of these podcasts, you'll laugh at this, because I finally finished A Homemade Life by Molly Weisenberg. I think this book came out in 2009. I bought the hardcover book. I read it, part of it, and I put it down. I've picked it up several times since then. Just, I've never gotten through the book, and I don't know why. Then I had an Audible credit come up, and so I purchased A Homemade Life on Audible, and I finally finished it, and I loved it. It was a good book. I didn't like the narrator very much on that one. It was a woman, and I just didn't love her expression. I can't put my finger on it, but there was something about her, the way she said some of the words and her, inflections in her speech. It was, I don't know. So I finished that one. The next one I did finish on Audible is A Man Called Uwe, and that's spelled O-V-E, Uwe, and that one was really interesting. I think I heard it on the Two Knitlit Chicks. Did a review, and Barb really loved the book, and it got really good reviews. So I wanted to give it a try, and it's about kind of this man. He's a curmudgeon, and there were so many things about, I did like the narrator. It was a man, I can't remember his name, but he was really pleasant to listen to. I really loved his reading of the book. He had a great voice and characters and expression, very pleasant. But the story is about this curmudgeon. Let me tell you one thing. So it's about this like lovable curmudgeon, and he's kind of an angry, grumpy guy, and all these things bug him, and I'm not going to give anything away, but the story goes on and on about him and his life kind of, but he's supposed to be really charming and likable. I did not find him likable at all. So anyway, I had to stop again and start. He was this curmudgeon, and he was 59 years old, which in my eyes is not old. He did not have any kind of technical knowledge. He didn't understand the young folk. He was so old-fashioned. I mean, he really played to me like somebody who was more 89 or 95 or something like that. Someone from, a different time entirely. It just, I don't know. He was, to me, so young. They played him so incredibly old, like an elderly, person. So I thought that was kind of off. So then, I listened and listened. I even debated about stop listening, and I did, and I continued on with it. And then the last bit of the book, the whole book turned around for me, and I was really moved by it. I was so touched and moved. So I actually had, it was pretty good. I'll give it that last part of it, I would give a big thumbs up. The first part, I mean, maybe it just took me a long time to get into it or something. I don't know. And then I listened to Olive's Ocean, which is a YA book, a young adult novel, which I really love. Young adult literature. I read it all the time. I have a nice collection. I'm just always extremely interested in it. You know, I'm really interested in it. And Kevin Henkes is a Madison author, and this particular book was set in Madison. Part of it was set in Madison. I really enjoyed that. So it's called Olive's Ocean. I would really recommend that one. Could be middle school ages, I'm thinking. And I don't know. Now I'm into a few other things. I want to read Molly Weisenberg's Delancey, which is about her pizza place. Kind of picks up where A Homemade Life left off. We'll see how many years that one takes me to get through, but I liked it. It's not that I didn't like it. I can't explain what happened there. But all right, just a couple more quick things. I did make this big basket of mini skeins, and I am going to be doing some fun things with mini skeins. You know, I have quite a collection of sock yarns. I've been knitting socks for so long. I've knit so many pairs of socks. So I have a lot of mini skeins. I have several projects going right now, and I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with them yet. I kind of posted about these mini skeins, and then which is nothing but nice. I have some people get kind of anxious for me, but I don't want to rush it. I have 2 projects completed that you can make with mini skeins, and then I have several more that I'm toying around with. I haven't started yet, but I think that people will really like them because a lot of people have leftover sock yarn, and I want to have kind of a variety of things that you can do with your leftover sock yarns. So I'm working away on that. I did have some people ask me, I'm looking for a good one to pull, how I make the mini skeins. So mini skeins like this, it's usually around anywhere from 3 grams to 10 grams, I've kind of figured out. I think I was shooting for about 10 grams for the mini skeins I made. I don't know. I have to measure them. We get anywhere from 7 to 10 grams, maybe, depending on how much yarn I had left. But I have had people like, how do you wind mini skeins? Well, I have this little mini, I wish I had a ruler here, but well, we can see this is a 6-inch needle. So let me see, where's the needle? Here, this is a 6-inch needle. And you can see that it's probably about maybe 7 or 8 inches in length. It looks like the inside shaft is just a little bit under 6 inches. So, you know, it's tiny, tiny, tiny for winding this little nitty knotty. I'm trying to remember, this is a Kromsky mini. I don't know if you can see the name there, Kromsky mini. And I feel like I got this off of, I feel like I got this on Etsy. There was an Etsy shop selling these. I got a Nostapinna and a mini nitty knotty. So look into that if you want to. And then you just wind it on here, pull it off and wind it up and tie it off. And you have your mini skein. But that's how I was winding them. I don't know. There are probably other ways you can do it. You probably just wind it on a you know, foot-long piece of paper, or cardboard, you could wind around and then just twist up and wind. If you don't really need a actual nitty knotty, I like to have that myself. I have just one more thing to talk about. So I don't know if you've noticed this, but if you're on Instagram and you follow a lot of knitters, there is kind of this big movement about Periscope. So I got the Periscope app. I was kind of curious what it was all about. It's a way to live broadcast, and it's connected with Twitter, I believe. So anyway, you can set up an account. You can download the app. It's free. And I've watched a couple knitters do. I think I watched Jen. I'm blanking on her name, but she has a podcast, and she did a studio tour, and I watched Knit Graffiti did kind of a what she was working on little broadcast, and I think Melody of Mandarins did a podcast or a little brief thing, and I don't know if I watched that one or if I read about it later, but the one I watched the most was the Knit Graffiti one, and I'm just kind of curious. I don't quite understand. I guess you can comment while the person is broadcasting live, and you can get kind of immediate feedback kind of things. But since I am up there now, I've gotten a lot of followers on there, and I haven't really done anything with it yet. But one thing I noticed while Knit Graffiti was doing her broadcast, there were a lot of really crazy inappropriate comments coming up, and then she could block the person by tapping on the comment, and then I mean, they were really bad, foul comments coming up, and that's just not really appealing to me. Not that it was appealing to her either. She didn't like it either. I don't want to make it sound like she didn't like it either, and people were blocking. I guess as a follower watching the broadcast, you can block people, which I find kind of funny, but so I actually even blocked one for her while it popped up while she was talking about her nice knitting. They were some really crude comments popping up. So is there a way to not do that, to have that happen? I'm not sure, because I don't really know. I have a lot of followers. It's not like I haven't really even looked to see who else is following me. I really don't even know. But anyway, if I did some Periscope live broadcasts, I'm curious, like, what would people want to see? Would you want to see like a walk in the woods with me? Would you want to see some kind of knitting or knit with me for a little bit and we just sit and knit and chat, or I chat to myself? Question answer kind of thing. And then if I open it up to a question answer, am I going to get all kinds of crazy, not from the knitters, of course, would not do that, but other people coming in asking weird questions? I don't know. So I've been trying to watch a couple to see, just get a handle on what it is actually. I mean, it seems like it could be really fun, and I know it's been around for a while in other venues, but it seems to be really catching on with knitting, which is really fun. So I think that's it. I am doing a blog post later this week for Spinzilla. I was asked to do a blog post on knitting with your handspun, which I've done a lot of, so that'll be coming up later this week. I'm off to Maine. I'm really excited. There's a lot of projects in the works. I finished that book of mine that's been with me for a couple years now, so that feels really good. And that's about it. So have a fantastic week. Love to you all, and big kisses, and I will check back in with you soon. Bye, knitters.